I didn't know what to think when I first saw it. I'll never forget the day it showed up. It was just an ordinary day. I was playing action figures with my sister when the doorbell rang. My parents were planners. If there was anyone coming over or stopping by, we'd all know about it an hour before they arrived. But no, it just showed up, completely unexpected. I watched as my dad opened the front door, revealing no one there, and then picking up this big black box and placing it down in the living room. It was like a small coffin. He opened it, and what I saw inside gave me this feeling I cannot describe. It was a green fabric, coffin-like box. Inside of it was a 3-foot-tall ventriloquist dummy. It had a black tuxedo with a green bow tie, combed black hair, his green eyes that would just look at you as if they had a mind of their own. Everything else just a soulless plastic dummy. It had a card in the pocket of its suit that said Corey in a fancy font. For the average person, something like this showing up to your door would be thought of as something in a movie. I was too young to understand. I saw it as a brand new toy. I picked it up and set it on my lap. I lifted up the back of its shirt, revealing a wooden stick with a lever and a string. The string moved the mouth up and down, while the lever could make the eyes move. I turned its head to my sister and moved the mouthpiece while saying in a funny voice, "Hi there, I'm Corey. What's your name?" She responded with her name and asked if it would like to join her tea party. I made it say, "Sure, if that hot Barbie doll is going." She giggled and my parents smiled. Its eyes then looked right at me. I can't remember making it do that. I figured my hand just slipped on the lever. From that point on, I would use it for my stand-ups, where I would pretend to be a famous ventriloquist. After a while, I got bored of it. I gave it to my sister to add to her collection of dolls and stuffed animals and such. That's when things got weird. I would see her talking to it, which wasn't strange. She talked to her other toys too. It was just the things she said, things like, "I don't want to do that," or, "You would never kill me, right?" I would peek into her room and see it. They would just sit there, but its eyes just always seemed like they were thinking, and I could sometimes see its mouth moving ever so slowly. That thing was just bad luck from the moment we got it. It was about half a year since we'd gotten it. One night I woke up to the sound of light tapping coming from the hallway. I got out of bed and put my ear to the door. It was getting closer until I heard it right outside my door. Then it stopped. I quickly opened the door to see something scurry off and into my sister's room. It was too dark to see though. It had to have been my sister. I closed the door and went back to sleep. The next day I asked my sister what she was doing outside my room. She told me she didn't leave her room last night. I knew my sister, she was too soft-hearted to lie. I figured she was just sleepwalking or something. I let it go. A few weeks later, I had a friend over to stay the night. We basically played GameCube games the entire time. Then we took a break because the pizza arrived. We went into the kitchen to get our plates and sat down at the table to see my sister sitting across from us, with the dummy sitting next to her. "What the heck is that?" my friend asked. His name is Corey, she replied. Ew, it's so weird. Look how creepy it is. Stop it. Corey doesn't like being talked to like that. My friend laughed as my sister looked at me and said, please make him stop. I then said to my friend, okay dude, seriously, stop talking to my sister's boyfriend like that. We both laughed uncontrollably as my sister cried out, I'm warning you, stop being mean to Corey. Or what, will he break up with you? My friend sarcastically replied. But then my friend looked at the dummy with a puzzled expression. Wait a minute, wasn't his head just turned the other way? I looked across the table to see the thing's head facing my friend, its eyes looking into his. I looked at my sister. Did you move its head? I asked her. She shook her head. Liar, I said. I'm serious, I didn't move it, she said with watery eyes. Confused, we both looked at her, then the dummy. My sister then cried out, please be nice to him, I don't want you to die. Before anyone could say something else, the dummy lunged across the table, its mouth wide open, chomping down near my friend's face before he fell back in his chair. My dad walked in. What is going on? He shouted. I pointed at my sister. She made her stupid dummy attack my friend, I answered. It almost bit my face off, my friend cried. My dad looked at my sister and said with a rage, go to your room now. I warned them about being mean to Corey. She began to cry. Go, my dad shouted. She then picked up the dummy off of the table and went into her room sobbing. As she walked away, I could see the dummy's eyes moving until they fixated onto me. I'm not letting her fool me. I know she's just moving that damn thing, I thought. My friend and I stayed up until midnight, taking turns on Luigi's mansion, drinking the rest of the root beers in the fridge. We played until we completed the game, then we went to bed. We both woke up at what seemed like 3 a.m. to the same light footsteps coming from outside my room. What is that? My friend whispered to me. It's my sister, she's sleepwalking, I whispered back. I slowly opened the door and peeked out into the hallway. I saw the silhouette of a small person run across the end of the hall. I carefully exited the room and down the hall, my friend behind me. When I peered over the end of the hall, I saw the basement door close. She can't be sleepwalking down the basement stairs, she'll fall, I thought. As we both quickly approached the basement door, we heard a door close behind us and footsteps coming down the hallway. At first I thought it was my dad coming to see what the noise was, until my sister walked out and said, I can't find Corey, did you guys take him? My friend and I looked at each other. Then we heard it. A faint laugh that came from the basement. All three of us froze, petrified. I grabbed a bat from the closet and pointed at my friend, then the doorknob, to indicate that I needed him to put his hand on it. I stood behind him with the bat. I looked at him and held up one finger, then two, then three. I held up the bat with a good grip, and he quickly opened the door. Nothing in the basement was visible, except for the first few steps. Everything else was pitch black. My friend peeked over the door, then he slowly took a couple steps down the stairs. Don't, I faintly shouted. He turned around and looked at me for a few seconds. He then let out a high-pitched scream as something pulled him down into the pitch black of the basement. I heard him stumble down the stairs. I slowly walked down, bat in hand. Then what I heard next still haunts me to this day. My friend made a blood-curdling noise that I didn't know a kid could make. while I heard the sound of flesh tearing. What in God's name could have been happening to him for him to make that noise? I had chills everywhere in my body. I stood there completely still. I quietly called my friend's name. What felt like minutes passed when I could hear something climbing the stairs toward me. I called out his name once more, and then there it was, coming out of the darkness. The dummy, staring into my soul with its evil green eyes, its mouth open and teeth covered in blood. It quickly faded into the darkness before my dad pulled me out of the basement. He took the bat from me and walked down the stairs with a flashlight, calling my friend's name out. After a few minutes, he came back up the stairs, telling us that he found nothing down there. We then called the police. They arrived and told us to step outside the house while they searched the property. They informed us that no one was inside and there was no trace of my friend. I told them his name and then what he was wearing. Red jacket with blue sweatpants. A few weeks had passed and he still wasn't found. I became more paranoid than I ever have been. I didn't understand. The only way out of the basement is the stairs. I should have seen him come out along with whoever was down there. I still refused to believe that the dummy was alive. Somebody was behind him in that basement, moving it. Somebody hiding in the pitch black who kidnapped my friend. One night I woke up to the same laugh that came from the basement. I made myself believe I was only hearing things. I tried to fall asleep until I heard it again louder. I lifted my head up from my pillow and scanned my room. At the edge of my bed was the dummy. But something was different about it. Its face looked different. It looked like it was wearing a mask. And whatever mask it was wearing had this oozing liquid dripping from it. It was too dark to see what it was, but I could smell this strong, metallic smell coming from where the dummy was. This is it, I thought. I was frozen in fear. After a couple seconds that felt like minutes of looking at that horrific sight, the dummy slowly went back under the bed. Then I woke up. It was all a dream, I thought. At that point, I knew my paranoia was only going to deteriorate. I decided that I would stop thinking about the incident and just move on to spare me from the nightly terrors my mind was pulling on me. I grabbed a flashlight off of my nightstand and turned it on to look under my bed. Nothing. I let out a sigh of relief and then laid my head back down on the green fabric pillowcase as I dozed off. Then it hit me. Green fabric. The green fabric inside the box that the dummy showed up in. Where? Where was that box? Where did we put it? Where would we put it? The basement. It has to be in the basement somewhere. I grabbed my flashlight from my drawer and quickly walked down the hall and down the basement steps. I was ready to give that plastic fuckface a piece of my mind, whether it was alive or not. I shined my flashlight everywhere until I saw it in the corner of the basement, the box. I rushed over to it in a heartbeat. A foul odor filled my nose as I opened it. There it was. Its face, its horrible green eyes. But that was it, just the face. Stitched onto the head of a lifeless corpse, wearing a red jacket and blue sweatpants. And I can all too clearly hear that sinister laugh right behind me.